Welcome back. Rape and abuse are sad realities for many women in South Africa. April is recognized as Sexual Assault Awareness Month to raise awareness about the causes and risk factors of sexual assault. The 2023 third quarter crime stats paint a grim picture, with sexual offences showing an increase of 9.6% in a space of 3 months. More often than not, perpetrators are people known to or close to victims. But how do we empower victims of sexual assault? To discuss this further, I'm now joined by the founder of Tears Foundation, Mara Glennie. Hi, Mara. Thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight. It's no secret that gender-based violence and sexual assault are huge issues we struggle with here in South Africa. Just first and foremost, just talk us through why you thought it was important to start an organization like Tears, and what does the organization do?
Thank you. Assisting people who've been abused is absolutely vital to their future. So I started Tears because when I went to the police station to ask for assistance, it was a Friday. They told me to come back on Monday. And when I had become well and recovered from my abuse, which was life-threatening, I realized that it wasn't a unique situation, that this happened all the time in every city of our country and every police station. Women don't get the help they need. So I decided to start an organization that would help victims of abuse, and sometimes we help men, but mostly women and children, to recover from their ordeal.
Mara, like I mentioned before, it's no secret that South Africa has a huge issue with sexual assault and gender-based violence. I mean, Interpol also named South Africa the rape capital of the world. Why is it that as a country we struggle so much with this issue? Why are we not finding solution, and why are the rates and statistics so high in South Africa?
I think if we handled rape and abuse like we handled COVID, we deal with it much more quickly. We handle it as a low priority. If we realize that we have to also change our thinking in every single way, because in the past we were taught about stranger danger, but statistics show that approximately 7% of abuse or rape cases are from strangers. That means rape and abuse is happening by someone that you know in your very family circle. It could be your pastor, your next door neighbor, the lady who serves tea. There's no specific gender, although it's much more men who do abuse.
And then, Mara, we often hear from victims and survivors that it's incredibly difficult to leave an abusive relationship. Firstly, why is it so difficult for victims and survivors to leave? And also, what is some advice that you would give someone who is currently in an abusive relationship on how to get out?
Well, as a survivor, I know how hard it is to leave. And the international statistics show that a woman thinks about or attempts to leave approximately 8 times before they finally leave. So when I'm dealing with people who have a loved one or a friend that's in an abusive relationship, I start off by saying, do not give them any advice. They don't need any advice. They know they're in a bad place. Ask them what you can do for them. Because if you're saying to a person, I can see you're in an abusive relationship, I saw your black eye or whatever it is, and you tell them to leave, they are actually not able to. What you need to say is, I will help you leave. You can stay with me. I'll get you a flat or whatever. We need to be constructive. And the reason that it is hard to leave is different with every case. However, generally speaking, it's because the woman gives up a lot of her life within a relationship. She may start to be an at-home mother and no longer have confidence in the workplace. It might be that she left to have her babies at an early age and doesn't have a skill to work with. So when I speak to people who are planning to leave, I start with a list that I have. Have you got a bank account? Because so often women are unempowered and don't have a bank account. So I urge them to open a bank account. Get yourself a burner phone. Keep it there and make sure your friends know the numbers. So if you do leave because your life is in danger, you can phone. pack a bag with a few items in case your life is in danger or your children's life and you have to leave. So there are lots of things you have to do in preparation of leaving, because as women, mostly, sadly, we are not taught to live on our own. We are taught you're going to get married and be a mommy. And so if you have not taught your girl child how to live on her own, how do you expect her to leave? It's a skill many women have to learn because their life or their children's life is in danger. So I think we need to encourage women to be empowered to live their own life, not for their husband and for their children.
Mara, so often we shine the spotlight on women who are abused, but the fact of the matter is that men are also abused in certain situations and circumstances. How do we better shine the spotlight and assist men who find themselves in these difficult situations, men and boys for that matter?
I do think that abuse is just as bad whether it's a man or a woman that's been abused.
Definitely.
And I do think, and we do help men. The difficulty with men is that there are very few organizations in South Africa that have been started to help men. So when we have a man who has been abused, we battle to find somewhere for them to go. So the further difficulty is the police are not trained to handle a male abuse. I'll give you an example. Our organization trained a very, very large call center at the city of Johannesburg, which was staffed by people, mixed 50-50 men and women, all highly trained, and the men did not even believe men could be abused. So our whole education for abused men has to start with education.
Mara, just earlier you briefly touched on your own personal journey when it comes to sexual abuse, and you highlighted the fact that you had gone to the police station and you were not assisted at the time that you went. This is the story of many people in South Africa. When trying to get hold of a protection order, what are sort of the details and the routes that needs to be followed when you know that you need to keep someone away from you and you need to find a way to get this protection order? What is the first steps that you even take in a situation like that?
So I'd firstly like to comment that we've just had some people before me saying how bad our systems are. So we have fantastic laws that protect women, but they are very poorly executed. So organizations like myself are started across South Africa, mostly by survivors, because we cannot do it alone. In other words, we must work together and help one another. So to get a protection order is actually a very difficult process. The minister and other people might say that it's an easy process. That is not true, because a protection order cannot, for example, be granted if you're sharing the same house, which in the past it has been, and that's incorrect. It's all about education. So I always recommend people who want to leave a relationship, who need a protection order, who want advice on child abuse, because people don't know what to do with child abuse, is to call a foundation like ours or one in their area. So that was the first service that I started when I started to develop a service that would help women and children. So anywhere in South Africa, free on your phone, you can find your nearest place for help by dialing *134* 7355# on your phone right now. It's a 24/7 service. So my answer to your question is contact the nearest place that assists with rape and abuse and put your queries to them.
Mara, just before I let you go, could you please kindly just repeat that number? You said it's a 24-hour number where people can find assistance. If you could just kindly repeat it for us.
So the number has 3 options. I'll give the number and then I'll tell you the options. So the number again works on any phone, free, anywhere in South Africa where there's network coverage, and that is *134* 7355#. And then you select the option of what you need. You select where you are, and it will give you the 3 nearest places to where you are when you make that call. Alternatively, if you want to help someone who's, for example, in Bloemfontein, you select Bloemfontein. The 3 addresses will be sent to you and you can forward them to your friend. or whoever it is you're helping. The next service we have on that number is an emergency helpline. So if you need help immediately, you need a vehicle to come and assist you, we are linked for free to Namola. And if you just on that number, *134* 7355#, select I'm in a life-threatening situation. Within approximately 20 seconds, someone will call back and ask what your situation is. And if a vehicle needs to be sent, they will send the nearest emergency vehicle to assist you. It may be an ambulance, it might be an armed security vehicle, it might be a patrol car, but you would get help within a very, very short while. And then the last service that we have is an educational service called Speak Up, which you also have on that number, *134* 7355#, and you choose Speak Up. And that's where we're trying to address the many problems that are happening in South Africa due to lack of education. And it's an educational program. And the first one that we have up is called Consent.
Mara, thank you very much for your time. Yes, you wanted to make a final point?
Say, of course. If anybody watching is in need of help, we want to help you. You can call us on that number or you can mail me. It's mara@tears.coza, MARA@tears, TEARS.co.za. No problem is too small. If it doesn't feel good, it is not right.
Definitely. Mara, thank you very much for your time and for sharing such important information. Definitely an important conversation, not just during this month, that is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but every day, because we know this is a huge issue in our country. That was the Tears Foundation founder, Mara Glennie. Moving on now.